I am pissed at what my wife said to our niece. Plus, all updates. My sister and Bill were abusive parents to my niece, Charlotte. I always tried to protect her, but my wife and I were only able to get custody through years ago. We adopted her, and she's a good kid at heart, but she still struggles a lot. She's still in therapy and has come so far, but finds it difficult to accept unconditional love and that kids don't have to be perfect. While she's usually fine with my wife and I, she still sometimes tends to see our daughter, Chloe, as ungrateful and spoiled. I've worked really hard on this, and it's a lot better, but sometimes it comes up in their teenage squabbles. It's not perfect, but the girls generally get along. Last Friday, they had an issue. I was at work, so this is based on what I was told after. Chloe was refusing to do any of her chores and arguing about it with my wife. Charlotte jumped in and basically called Chloe lazy and said that she should be a better daughter like her. Apparently, my wife got pissed off and told her off. She reminded her that she was lucky we were taking care of her and to stay out of it. From there, it got bad. My wife says that Charlotte was extremely rude about Chloe, but she also admits she told Charlotte that we didn't have to take care of her, and that basically, unlike Chloe, we can send her back to her parents if she keeps it up. Ignoring the fact we legally cannot, that's just completely fucked up. They ended their fight with Charlotte just going to my parents for that night, and she's been really upset and withdrawn since. When I got home, my wife filled me in, and I was honestly pretty furious. The first thing that came to mind was, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Which admittedly wasn't a productive response, but I was honestly just floored. The issue is that Charlotte doesn't get that a kid deserves unconditional love, even if they're not perfect. So you fucking tell her that you'll kick her out if she doesn't behave? All the progress I worked with her for is going to be shut back again. I was mad, and we fought about it. I get she can be difficult, but that was inappropriate. However, she still refused to apologize or anything. I've tried to talk to her and explain that we love her, and that it wasn't meant the way it was said. But my wife is just accusing me of babying and favoring Charlotte. Apparently I'm being unreasonable, thinking what she did was disgusting. That I should care more about Chloe, as if this is a competition. I'm still honestly pretty pissed at her, while she just claims I'm unreasonable and being a shit dad to Chloe. Update. First, I want to thank everyone for their responses. It was helpful, even some I disagreed with. While things aren't perfect, they're both good kids, and my wife is making amends for what she did. Since then, my wife and I have been in therapy. She's apologized and tried fix it with Charlotte, but she lost a lot of trust with what she said. Even now, it's not back to what it was. The therapy is helping, and she realized just how wrong it was. Charlotte has mostly gone back to normal around me, though a bit clingier. I've made it clear I always love and be there for her, and I've been making it clear it's unconditional, and she doesn't have to be perfect or deserve it. She's obviously still in therapy and getting help. The girls have had some stupid fights since, but nothing like last time. Charlotte initially distanced herself, but Chloe got her back to normal quicker than my wife and I. She was really there for Charlotte. When she wants to be, she can be really thoughtful. Chloe is doing fine. I made sure to talk to her, and she doesn't have an issue with Charlotte. As usual, she basically said Charlotte can be annoying, but she loves her, a normal sister. It's not perfect, but improving. I think my wife's actions were a mistake, but they were from the situation rather than about Charlotte herself. All the little issues built up, and she exploded. She didn't realize how much it grew to bother her. She's made it clear she knows Charlotte is our daughter now, and that it was a horrible mistake. We are working to fix it. If she really can't handle it, I will have to leave for Charlotte's sake. But I think our progress is promising so far. Now, I want to clarify some things. Charlotte did have issues with women. However, this wasn't her being rude per se. The issue was that she was terrified. She would basically be silent and overly obedient, but clearly scared and unwilling to open up. With me, she let her guard down quicker to let me love and help her. For my wife, it took months for more than one-word answers and almost 2 years to stop the fear. Back talking and interjections were a problem, but because she was comfortable with my wife, not the opposite, I was heavily involved in raising the girls. I didn't leave it to my wife. I just happened to be working late that day. Other days, it's my wife working and me with the girls. Further, there are consequences for misbehaving. We just had a bigger issue that night. Overall, thank you for the advice. I hope things keep getting better, even if it's slow.
Wife's post. Am I wrong for waking out on my adoptive daughter and telling her everything is her fault? So I, 36 female, have 2 kids, a boy Tom 5 and a Sarah daughter 18, plus my husband's late brother's kid, 16 female, Kelly, who lives with us 14 months ago. My husband came home with Kelly and said she would be staying with us for a while. I barely knew Kelly because since her father passed away 10 years ago, her mom has been struggling with mental health and addiction. Apparently Kelly was in a bad situation at home due to her mother's new boyfriend being a, let's say, not so nice person. He told me it was only for 3 months while his parents, who recently moved aboard, got settled, then it went to 5 till his sister had her baby, just excuse after excuse, until I stopped asking. As time went on, my husband just acted like she was our daughter, even bringing up adoption a few times, which I refused, even when he threatened divorce. I know I sound like a monster, but you have to. Realize Kelly isn't easy to deal with, and my husband doesn't allow her to face any kind of consequences. Kelly acts like she is the golden child, and my daughter is the black sheep. She has violent meltdowns. She's threatened our son that my husband will leave us if she tells him because he loves her more, which traumatized Tom. She has tried and failed her mind games with me pretending to be a saint. Her main target is my daughter. She is extremely cruel towards her verbally, like she'll slut shame her for everything. Little thing like wearing makeup or tell her she's lazy, good for nothing for stupid reasons like sleeping late at the weekends. She'll take her things, either will lost them or destroy them, then cry to my husband, who will excuse her behavior even though he spends 70% of his time at work. We are all in therapy, which isn't working like group sessions. When someone points out Kelly's behavior or adoption, usually end up with everyone fighting. It all came to a head last month. Kelly was in a mood all week because Sarah had a big 18th party with all the attention on Sarah, especially from my family, which Kelly said mentioned in therapy. Myself and Sarah were having a stupid fight over a non-issue because Sarah used all my shampoo, which she didn't replace or let me know I was out of. Kelly came out of nowhere screaming at Sarah, calling her a moocher. Lazy, trash, and spoiled. She then said Sarah was an adult now, and she didn't pull her weight. She'd get kicked out. I lost it. I told her Sarah was my daughter, and if she didn't change her attitude, she'd be the one kicked out. Kelly didn't say anything. Just went into her room. About an hour later, my husband came back, then started screaming, literally. My face calling me names, telling me he wants a divorce so he can protect Kelly. So I said, okay, I want a divorce and 50-50 custody. I get my son. He gets his niece. Now get the fuck out of my house with his niece. They left and have been staying with his brother since husband now has to deal with Kelly all the time. He wants more therapy to fix our issues so we can get back together and be a family again. They both came over yesterday to collect the last of their stuff, and Kelly asked me, was it her fault? I said yes, it was just as much her fault as her uncle's husband. Husband told me I'm being a monster, and Kelly is my daughter whether I admit it or not, and I've abandoned her when she finally had a stable home that she doesn't mean to lash out due. It's just due to her trauma, and if we work together, we can help her work through it. Honestly, now I don't know what to do, and feel like an asshole. Final update from wife. So yes, the divorce is going forward, even though my husband has begged me to stay because he can't handle the consequences of his actions. And yes, he is AITA 8482828. He did change a few details. And yes, this isn't. Our first follow-out with me blowing up Kelly isn't my daughter, and I wanted her out due to their mistreated of Sarah. We nearly got divorced last year, but he used therapy and my emotional abuse as a tool to manipulate me to stay. Sarah hasn't spoken much to her father since the first fallout because, as people mentioned, even on his post leaving a lot out about Kelly and just putting down Sarah, it was clear who he only cares about. Sarah said she wants nothing to do with him and has warned family to put out. I'm sick of his emotional and mental abuse towards us for his niece and his threats of divorce to get his way, so I hope he makes this easy on everyone. Yes, Kelly has had a bad childhood and has suffered, but she isn't my problem anymore. I want zero contact with her, and will make sure she won't have contact with my son. I've plenty of evidence and witnesses to make it happen. I can sound cruel, but she can fuck right off. She isn't my kid, so I don't owe her a relationship, and regardless of how bad her trauma is, she has no right to traumatize others. She could have had a life in America with her grandparents, but she refused to learn English. As for my husband being her real dad, that's irrelevant to me, because I won't get the truth, and would only cause more issues for my kids who've been through enough. Thanks to everyone for the advice. I won't be logging in after tonight, and as I've said in the comments, English isn't my first language. What do you guys think? Let's discuss in the comments. Follow and like for more stories.